Hey guys, it's Luke from RetroRevival here, and today is week 5 of Marvel Month, and it is the final episode of Marvel Month as well. And as you can see here, we have some more custom LEGO figures, and today the series is Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, as you can see, not all of these are very well-known figures. I mean, one of them isn't even in the movies, and hasn't been in any movies. So this isn't going to be your normal Guardians of the Galaxy lineup. Hope you enjoy it. So guys, without further ado, let's get into the figures. So guys, here's the first figure. Of course, we have to start with StarLord, and he comes with this little baby Groot right here. And he's got like a little uniform on. It's not printed very well, unlike the real LEGO one. But yeah, it's just a little extra thing. But let's get on to the actual figure itself. The hair is perfect. I can't think of a better piece that they could have used to show Chris Pratt. It's the perfect colour. I love how it just swoops over to the side. It's just a perfect hairpiece. His face is absolutely spot on. You can tell exactly who it is when you see him. Of course, he's got a bit of a stubble and that classic StarLord smirk. Then going down to the torso, you can see he's got a grey undershirt with a bit of detailing on that. And of course, that red leather jacket, which I actually have one that's similar in real life. And you can see the lines where the collar is, and there's a few buttons and a few creases, which just looks awesome. You can also see his belt in the middle with the belt buckle. He's got plain black legs, he's got just the pale hands, and the normal red/burgundy arms. There's no printing on the sides. However, on the back you can see there's some details on the back of the torso, but it's mainly covered by this jetpack. So next up is Groot, and I really don't like this figure at all. The head mold is pretty cool, but that face, I mean, it looks like he's been hurt. It looks like he's really scared. I just don't like that face. It doesn't fit Groot at all. His torso's pretty cool. I like the detailing on that with all the lines where you can see where it's like bark and there's a few leaves around him, or moss, or something like that. He's got plain brown legs, plain brown arms, and plain brown hands. There's no printing on the side, but you can see like this brown vine piece, and there is printing on the back of this figure where you can see once again the bark and the moss/leaves on the back of the torso. That's quite cool. And you can also see a little bit of the back of the head mold. Now, something I don't like about this figure is it's one of the worst made figures that I've ever bought, where the plastic is just really brittle and he doesn't stick down to surfaces very well. And the hands are like chipped and really weird, and things don't stay easily in his hands, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, not a very good figure. Now, going from a not very good figure to a great one, here is Yondu. Now, Yondu is one of my favourite characters in Guardians of the Galaxy. He was part of the original lineup in the comics, and they changed him a little bit for the movies, but I think it was a good change personally. As you can see, he's got the red fin on his head, which he uses to fly his arrow. His face is spot on. You can tell exactly who it is. There's a bit of detailing on his face, which just adds to the figure, and he's got a little bit of a stubble, but you can't really see that. And he's also got a silver tooth, which I'm pretty sure is a gold one in the movies. Don't quote me on that, I'm not sure. But that's just another bit of detail. Going down to the torso, this is the most complex part of all. Of course, you can see his Ravager burgundy jacket, with just loads of buckles and just loads of detail on this. A bit of gold as well. He's also got the emblem badge of the Ravagers. He's also got a red shirt with some more buckles and belts and things going across. Really detailed, this part. Then going down to the legs, the jacket continues onto them, where it's mainly brown, but of course you can see like the burgundy parts of the jacket, and a few creases on the legs. If we turn to the side, there's no printing on the sides. However, you can see that fin a lot better. You can see some of the detail on the front of his head a bit better, and you can see this wrench that he comes with. Now, I don't know why he doesn't come with the arrow. It would make more sense, but you'll see in the next figure, they do have an arrow. Now, on the back, you can see some of the detailing on his jacket, which is just really nice, and you can see some of like the cross-hatched collar, I guess you could say, at the top, and like a weird buckle in the middle of his back. I don't know what that's supposed to be, but you know. So next up is Kraglin, and this is Yondu's right-hand man, and he actually takes over from Yondu at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and as you can see on the top of his head, he has the same fin as Yondu. Going down to his face, it shows his rugged look very well, with a stubble, and he's got the same tooth as Yondu. His torso is very detailed once again, where you can see his burgundy leather jacket, but it's actually done up in a different way to Yondu's and Quill's, with lots of lines, and it's just very detailed and very nice. He's got like a brownish collar, and he's got like a grey undershirt. Then going on to the legs, you can see his belt with a few buckles on there, and the legs are very detailed too. I think he has leather trousers in the movie, and of course you can see some buckles and just loads of lines all over them, and you can also see the bottom of his boots. Now you can actually see that Kraglin comes with the arrow, However, I think it would have been more appropriate to give this arrow to Yondu and give the wrench to Kraglin. He's got plain black hands, and if we go over to the side, you can see that there's loads of detail on his arms. Just loads of grey detail, and it looks really nice. I don't know what this is supposed to be, whether it's like armour or technology or something like that. I don't know, to be honest. And on the back, there's a lot of detail where the jacket just carries over to the back. Just really detailed, and it doesn't need to be, but they've just put in the extra effort. And then on the legs, you can see where the straps and his boots carry across, and also the top of his belt. Next up is Ronan the Accuser, the leader of the Kree. And this is another really cool figure. He's got that custom helmet mold which carries down to the shoulders, which just looks really nice. Some silver on there that shines quite nicely in the light. His face is quite dark, so it's not that easy to see, but he's got like a grimace sort of facial expression. And he's got some like black markings underneath his eyes. His torso is also very detailed, where you can see his armor with all the little segments on there. There's a bit of red, I don't know what that's supposed to be, to be honest. It might be blood, I'm not sure. But his legs are also very detailed, where the armor just carries down. It just looks really nice. And you can also see the tops of his boots. He also comes with this really cool hammer, which is actually out of the shop right now. But if you go to the side, you can see he doesn't have any printing. He also just has blue hands. You can also see the hammer a little bit better. And of course you can see that there's no printing on the back because there's a cape in the way. But you can also see the back of that really cool custom head mold. Next up is Taneleer Tavan, the Collector. He's in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. He's a really interesting character, very eccentric. And this figure's okay. His hair's a bit off. I don't think they got the right hair mold, and it's a bit metallic, which is weird. And in the movie, I'd say it's lighter than this. His face is a little bit off too. I don't know what it is about the face. I think it's just the facial expression doesn't really show the character very well, and the lines on the face sort of make him look older than he actually is. However, that torso is really interesting with like a patterned suit. It's a really interesting torso. He also has what looks like a pocket watch going from one pocket to the other. And then going down to the legs, this really cool patterned shirt thing just continues onto the top of the legs, where you can see a bit more detailing. There are also creases in his legs that are like silverish, and you can see his shoes. He has plain black arms and pale hands, and of course you can see this really cool cape with like this pattern on there. There's no printing on the side or on the back. Now next up is Aisha, the leader of the Sovereign in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and as you can see she's very gold. She has this radio device in her hand, but I don't know what that's supposed to be. She doesn't have anything like that in the movie. But she's got gold hair, and this shows off her hair pretty well. I mean, it's sort of similar to the movie. She's also got a golden face with a bit of red lipstick and those big eyes. However, the eyes look a bit weird to me. They look a bit too far apart. It just looks a bit odd. And then she's got this cool bodysuit on, which is a dark blue. And it's got some gold and blue detail on it. It's actually pretty accurate to the movie, where you can see the main strips down the middle, and there's a few like side parts. The legs are pretty much the same. It's just a really nice bodysuit, where you can see like the weird swoopy lines coming in from the sides, and there's a little bit of gold just to mark where the boots are. There's no printing on the sides at all. It's just completely navy. And then on the back, there's a little bit of printing on the back of the torso, but you can't really see it because her hair's in the way. And there's also no printing on the back of the legs. And finally, we have a character who isn't that well known. He's not in any of the movies. This is Vance Astro. Now, he's a really cool character in the comics. He's part of the main lineup of the Guardians of the Galaxy. However, he's not been in any of the movies for some reason. And I'm not a big fan of this figure. The main problem for me is the painting. It's just completely off and it doesn't look very good. The face, it's not that easy to see because the lines are so dark on that extremely dark head. But the painting is way off. You can sort of see the eyes, where the one's sort of crusty and the other one's fine. But that's my problem with this. The detailing is so dark that you can't actually see it on the figure. But you can see his torso. He's got some white on there where you can see his chest and his muscles down below, although it's not that easy to see on the camera. His legs are painted, but the paint is sort of rubbing off. But you can see that there's white and there's a few bits of detailing on his knees, and you can see where his feet are. And as you can see, he has this Captain America shield. However, it's not printed very well, and as you can see at the bottom of the star right here, it's sort of rubbing off, and it just hasn't been printed very well at all. If we go over to the side, there's a little bit of printing, and that's where these two white triangles are on the side of his arm. However, this is also rubbing off, and there's a bit of printing on the back where these white triangles are again, and there's some back printing to show where his back is and just some muscles. However, I'm pretty sure this printing is supposed to be there and it hasn't just rubbed off. So guys, here are the figures at the end, and I'm going to do what I always do, and I'm going to say my favourite and my least favourite. I think my favourite has got to be Yondu here in the front. He just looks sick. And then my least favourite's got to be this horrible looking Groot figure. And with this video, guys, Marvel month is over. I hope you've enjoyed it, and in the month of June, we've got something very special coming to the channel. So, on June the 1st, look out for a new video that will announce a very special series coming to this channel. So, watch out for that on June the 1st. So, guys, I've been Luke from RetroRevival. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all later. Bye.